Alright guys, so today we got an old Atlas lathe. This was my grandfather's lathe, and I'm new to this whole thing, so I've been kind of learning as I go and teaching myself. And I got this old rocker style tool post here where you basically just adjust it and you can get your height of your cutting tool as you pivot this on the rocker post, but you don't have the advantages of quick change because you can't change pieces out, and you also I don't know, you're kind of limited on some of the tooling you can use. So what I've done is I bought it's over here. So this is just one of the Chinese import tools, and this here, it's from AXA. I don't know, it was about 200 bucks. Also got a boring bar here, but I figured this would be a nice upgrade, and let's take a look at it. So here we have the actual tool post itself. I opted for the wedge type, which basically has this dovetail that moves, holds it in, versus the piston ones, because apparently these are a little better. So for a little bit more money, I figured it was worth it. So this is the 250 111. It's their smaller size. So and it comes with a lot of these quick change tooling. So just your basic one here. There's a couple others. There's I think a boring bar one in here. And this one's for a cutoff tool. So the cutoff tool goes in there. So it came with a couple of these. Another one that can hold a boring bar right there with that little V groove. So looks pretty nice. It was cheap, you know, within price range for someone just getting started in this. So goal now is to see if I can get this adapted. So it comes with this plate here. It comes off, but the plate needs to fit into my tool rest, and it's significantly smaller the one that's on here. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so bring it a little closer here. Okay, so this guy, here's the rocker part. It comes with just this little wee flat here that rides in the channel. So my goal is to somehow modify this to fit this guy in. And I've read that this is metric and some other things, so I got to kind of take a look at that and figure that out. So that's what we're doing. The ultimate goal is to be able to get this set up. I got some new tooling, a nice 3/4 inch boring bar here. I need to make some bushings. So, all right, let's take a look and see if we can get this adapted. Slide that guy in there. Okay. Take a measurement of that. Okay, so about exactly an inch. Okay, so we're going to cut this down just about an inch, and then once we get it cut down, we'll get some threads cut in there, and then we can grind that off as best we can, as accurately as I can. That'll be what we need. And then lengthwise, square here. Again, some of this stuff I got from my grandpa, it's got a little bit of surface rust. I need to spend some time cleaning all this up. But so we'll say a 2.5 inch piece would fit in there. Give us. what I'll do is I'll clamp something to the table to give me a nice straight guide at 1 inch. So. Okay, so feels pretty square to me. Again, it's probably not perfect, but see how it goes. Alright, so little sidebar here. We got to fix the sketchy wiring. I've got a new safety switch and a box that I need to wire up to the saw, but this will work for just now. And them cheap strippers won't even cut. There's no ground on the old one, so for now we can run it without it, but we really do need to get ground hooked up. See if we can cut. As with anything, never goes right the first time. As you can see, it's super crooked. So apparently either this band saw is deflecting real bad, or this jig's not set up square. So that looks pretty square, but yeah, I guess we're just deflecting real bad. Maybe if we adjust this. Got a milling machine, I could just throw it in the mill and get it done, but apparently the bandsaw's not set up right. It's cutting awfully crooked, so we're just going to go at it the old-fashioned way with the grinder. So we'll take the rest of this off with the band, or the belt sander. There it is. Just using the belt sander. Okay, so I'm just scribing the center of this so I can get ready to drill some holes in it, and then we'll be able to link this guy to this guy. So this stuff is definitely not hardened. Definitely pretty soft stuff, whatever this is made out of. It's steel, but it's some imported tools, so they're not the greatest. But now we're going to drill it out. A little cutting oil in there. Got these from Granger. These are kind of handy. They just lots of nice little things for carbide inserts. Also, threading charts, different types of thread, and drill sizes for tapping. Super, and like speeds and feeds and different other stuff. Just really come in handy in the shop. So we got 3/8. National course, 3/8, 16 threads per inch. Tapping drills of 5/16. Okay. Find the 5/16. Got our 5/16. It'll drill through this, but that drill bit could probably use a little bit of sharpening. But for now, it should be alright. Alright, got our 5/16 loaded. We're going to drill these out, and then we're ready to tap them. Made a mistake. The studs, wasn't thinking. So the problem we're going to run into here is I think what we can do actually, so this has to sit flush on here. We need to actually thread this guy. Made a mistake there trying to thread that. But I think what we can do is cut a relief in there so the head of this bolt will fit down snug, and then we can actually tighten them, thread this, tighten them down, and then that'll fit in there. And then there's actually a little bit of a gap in between the two, so this should work out nicely if we get it just right. Alright, so what I've done is countersink these holes, drilled them out to 3/8, and then I countersink them just deep enough that these grade 8 bolts will fit flush. And then I took a cutoff wheel and ground slots at them. That way I have access and I can tighten these down. The original issue was in order to make this big enough to get a socket in there, it would intervene with the side and the threads and it would weaken this. So I figured this was the easiest, best solution to that. And it also mimics this original rocker post that has slot milled that locked it down. So I think that ought to work. So after cutting it to size on the bandsaw and then running it through the belt sander a ton and I just do a couple seconds on each side, flip it, couple seconds, turn it over, couple seconds, turn it over. That way it kind of keeps it symmetric. Now, sliding that guy in there, it is tight. There's a hair play side to side, up and down, it's perfect. And there's just a smidge. So for not having a mill and not having a surface grinder, pretty happy with that. There's a little bit of gunk in there, so it's kind of a bit stiff, but yeah, that definitely very happy with that. Just ever so much side to side, but up and down is perfect. So I'm going to take that, and now what we're going to do is, I got this block here with screws, countersink. Again, this wasn't with any fancy tools. I just drilled it out. You know, I didn't have an end mill or anything, so I just drilled them out. And then I didn't have a drill quite. I needed like one size larger to get it to fit, but I just kind of ground the flats off, or ground the corners off a little bit, and then hit it with an angle grinder to make the slot in the center. Again, nothing fancy, and then they fit real nice. And I'm going to double check that they're. I mean, that was just eyeballing with the drill press, but it looks pretty damn close to me. So what we're going to do is set this on here, and then I need to drill and tap this, and then depending on if the bolts are too long, once I get them in there and figure out, I can take just a little bit off these bolts, but then that should lock this down, and then our tool rest will sit in there, and it should work out pretty nice. So again, no fancy tooling required, just a little bit of time and kind of thinking creatively with the tools I got. So, all right, I'm going to grab the punches here, get this guy lined up. And again, it has to be, I'm going to line it up on here because this runs into this lip here, so this has to be offset slightly forward. That was another reason I stayed with the 3/8 studs. It's because the 1/2-inch studs, they're going to get close to running into that with these holes already drilled. So, all right. Okay, so I got just this cheap set of center finding punches here. So, find the right size. One size. Okay, and that guy fits in there snug. So I'm just kind of eyeballing. Again, this doesn't exactly matter if it's perfect, but okay, get a hammer and these punches aren't very expensive, so I like to make a small dent first with these, and I follow it up with a real punch, just to not wear these ones out. Okay. I think we're lined up good. Those punched. All right. Fingers crossed, that's right. So gives us the offset. Everything theoretically should be lined up. So. Okay. Go over the drill press. Now these need to be, these are 3/8 bolts. So if we look at our chart here, 3/8 coarse thread, tapping drill is a 5/16. So find our 5/16. This is kind of a janky vise, so this is the larger drill, but I use the countersink. This little chamfering tool cleans up the hole and also helps that tap find its way. Okay, so GoPro ran out of battery, so I didn't get to finish filming the end of that, but here's kind of a look at the final product that we got. So you can see I got those holes tapped and then put the bolts in. Ground them off on the belt sander to just so they just barely have clearance on the bottom of the original tool post holder. And there you go. That picture, you can see the slots that were cut in there and the bolts that are countersink in. So yeah, altogether I was pretty happy with how it came out. You know, keeping in mind the tools that I had on hand, I was very satisfied with the product. And again, as long as that surface is nice and flat and flush with the original cross slide, it should be just fine. So you know, it's not crazy tight tolerance or anything, but you know, I think it'll work for now. And the one thing I have noticed though, since using it a little bit, the tools actually contact the quick change tools. When you insert them in the chuck, they actually contact the bottom of the tool rest a little bit. So I think I might have to take off some of the material around that tool post. That way those quick change pieces can slide down. But that's something I'll address in a future video. But yeah, I hope this was interesting and helpful. I know a lot of guys buy these import tool posts, and there's definitely many different ways to skin a cat, but I found that this was kind of the easiest way for me with the tooling that I had, and overall I was pretty happy with how it came out. So I think once I address that issue of being able to drop the tool post down a little bit, I think I'll be pretty happy with it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you got any questions or things you'd like to add, I'd love to hear it. So thanks.